Welcome back, guys. This is our weekly recap of Love and Marriage Huntsville. If you missed it, we went live on Friday, recapping the episodes that we missed because, as you know, I was in BravoCon and then I was in Los Angeles. But we did cover those last couple of episodes, episodes 23 and 24. I know what you're thinking, 23, 24. And based off the preview for what's to come, it feels like now you're starting to drag it. These last few episodes have been interesting and engaging, but in this particular episode, I felt like, okay, now we're really dragging it out. Now we're having meetings. Now it's starting to feel a little repetitive. Anyone else? Now I'm starting to feel like, oh, okay, here we go. I like the introduction of the Nell situation, which was important because if we didn't have the Nell situation, we really would have been like, what the hell is going on with this season? It's the same stuff over and over and over again. Anyways, so before we get into any of that, guys, be sure to like the video. Be sure to subscribe because it is a subscribers only live chat. Don't forget to like the video, as I said, and don't forget to let us know where you're watching from. Let's get into a countdown, and then let's get into this recap of Love and Marriage Huntsville, Season 6, Episode 123.
Won't you listen to me? I got that flavor. I know you're dying to feed. I ain't no dancer, just got some hip in my feet. Now throw your hands up. Ooh, you bring the lighter. I got the fuse. You make a fire. I'll add the fuel. Follow me, lead it. Just watch your shoes. Gotta turn the heat up to get this cool.
Welcome back to the Kempire channel, your number one source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. And we've been posting a lot of shorts, and you also may have noticed that we've been posting some shorts in Spanish translation. So be sure to check that out. I think we're going to move the Spanish translation videos to the Kempire Shorts channel, and that will become where we post that. Just so be sure to follow that if you're not. Kempire Shorts here on YouTube. We're also posting them on Instagram as well. All right. Shout out to our King's Guard. Shout out to our channel members. To become a channel member, head on over to teamkempire.com/join. And of course, shout out to our subscribers. We do appreciate those of you that have subscribed. I looked at my analytics. You know, a lot of creators, they will have analytics that say they have, their percentage-wise, they have far more people that watch their content are people that aren't subscribed. I have to say, and I don't know when it changed, but we have more than half of the people that are subscribed watching our content. So shout out to all of you that say, I don't want to miss out on what you post. Subscribe. Do not rely on the algorithm to let you know that we've posted something, because a lot of times it might not. The algorithm might be like, we're going to shadow ban him. So you're not going to see the content. I post a lot. There's a lot of content that you're getting here. And I go live a lot. All right. As always, guys, let's get into this recap of Love and Marriage Huntsville. As I mentioned before, we recapped the last couple of episodes on Friday, so be sure to check out that episode. I'm sure our mods are already posting it in the live chat, so be sure to check out that live show that we did. All right, Nell's family drama. That's how we ended last week's episode. This week, we're continuing with the family drama. It's a blended family. So Chris and Nell had their own kids when it came to the relationship, but those kids were really young when they came into, when they came together. Then they had two more kids. So we ended last week's episode, last week's episode, but we recapped it on Friday, with the drama with her son. He went to jail. She has his dog. He wants the money for the dog. He wants his dog back. All this stuff. And I said this before, and I'm going to say it again this week. I feel like it's nice to be introduced to a new family, but I feel like every time we're introduced to a new family, at least on Love and Marriage Huntsville, it's with their toxic family drama. And I get it. We all have toxic family drama on some level in every family. And I get it. It's a reality show. It's a form of entertainment, and that's what Carlos does. But I just feel like our first introduction to this family is all of this toxicity. I just don't love how that's the first thing that we get from when we first meet Chris and Nell's family. Like, we've been introduced to Chris and Nell, and they've been made to seem like the perfect couple in a lot of ways, even though we know that there was infidelity. But they've been made to sort of be like the elders of the group. Now we introduce their family, and now we expose the family as like, oh, they're not so perfect. You know what I mean? Like, I feel a little uncomfortable. So there's some family drama. And look, Chris is very cool, calm, collected. And this is why all the kids, including her niece, go to Chris when they have an issue or if they need something. But Nell is not Garcelle. Remember Garcelle from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills? She said that she wants to sort of break the pattern that she grew up with her mom. A lot of us grew up with black parents that it doesn't matter if you are African American or Caribbean. A lot of the parents, you're to be seen and not heard kind of thing. So Nell is from that school, I feel. And I don't think that we should judge Nell for the way that she is with her kids. Could she do better and learn more and be a little bit more open to hearing their thoughts and their feelings? Yes. And I was really happy that in that scene later on in this episode, she's like, okay, let's do family counseling. So she's willing to maybe change a little bit, but she's, I believe, doing what she learned, what her mama and grandmother did for her. I'm not excusing it. I'm just saying, I'm trying to come from a place of understanding, because I was like, whoa, I did not expect for Nell, because it was like a completely different Nell. Nell seemed so calm, collected, and just so open and heartwarming. I expected that to be the Nell that we saw with her children. Because I feel like she has so much compassion and love and calm and beauty and energy for Martell and Melody's situation. I did not expect for us to come into this situation. And Nell is like, ah! I did not expect it. But look, I appreciate it. Okay. So it goes from a fight with Nell and her son to a fight with her and Lexi. And at one point when she's fighting with her son, Nell is like, shut up, Lexi. And I told you during our recap of on Friday that when Lexi leaves the house, because Lexi feels like everyone has turned on her. They brought up a lot of stuff that, when she got married, they barely weren't invited. So she's sort of like alienated from the family. But then I'm reminded that technically, and I don't know if Lexi grew up with the other kids, but she, of course, Nell has been her stepmom since she was like 16 months old. So she's basically a part of the family, but I'm not sure, did she grow up with them? Because it feels as if, and I'm glad I was reminded of this during this episode, that now I kind of understand where she comes from, because at first I was like, oh, she's just being a brat. She's always bringing up a car and how she got her own car. Everyone else gets everything. I was like, okay, well, I need to understand how she grew up. Did she not grow up under the same roof with these guys every single day? Was it like every other week? Did she live with her mom, her biological mom? That's an element that I don't know. Maybe you guys know it because you follow all the stuff online. I appreciate it because you give me my Cliff Notes. So when I thought about that, I was like, well, then it kind of makes sense to me that maybe she feels like the other kids are treated a little bit differently than she is. Not to say that she's right, but that could be her perception of the situation. A lot of these kids, look at the Jade and Jack situation with Garcelle on Beverly Hills. Both living under the same roof, but have a different perception of the way they're being raised and feeling how they're being raised. I know my siblings feel the same way too. I've seen little arguments and fights that have happened in my own family where one person has a perspective on how they were raised, and you're like, oh, that's what you think about? You just don't know. You don't know. So maybe that's why I'm giving a little grace to Nell. Okay, Nell? So Lexi gets into it with everyone. Everyone is against Lexi, and Lexi storms out with her white man. No, I'm playing Lexi. I'm playing. Come on, because it sticks out. It sticks out. So they storm out, and that's when we see that scene with Chris and Lexi arguing. She's like, "You haven't been in my life until was the key word, until 28." So he's like, "That's a lie." Chris is denying that. So, like I said, I'm thinking that Lexi did not grow up in the household, and maybe she only spent maybe weekends or every other weekend with Chris. And look, that's how Lexi feels. Lexi actually feels, even if they don't agree, no one in the family agrees, that she feels alienated. She feels like she's treated very differently. Hey, Lance. Lance is her other Nell's kid, handsome. Well, he has a gripe with his younger brother because he's like, I hired you to work for me and you weren't doing what you're supposed to be doing. He's like, yeah, you owe me some money. He was like, I owe you money? We all have one of those in the family. Very entitled, can go to jail, do all the things, think that everyone needs to show up for them and do everything for them. This is why reality TV is so important, because I think a lot of people think it only happens in their family. And then they see this and you're like, oh, it happens in every other family. It's the entitlement for me. You always wonder, like, how do you even think? Like, you do all of this stuff. Nell has forked over thousands and thousands of dollars to help you get out of trouble. And yet you still feel like you're entitled to more. I don't get it. So that conversation and that introduction to this episode was pretty heated. And like I said before, I'm a little disappointed that this is our introduction to this family. I mean, it's real. This is what they're going through. But it's just like, damn, this is our introduction to the family. Maybe we should have just had like a one-on-one with one of the kids that Nell gets along with. But it doesn't seem like she gets along with any of them. All right. Stormy and Courtney. I got to be real with you guys. And I told you on Friday, I told you that I felt like I loved the scene with Stormy and her CMO and how she talked about what she went through. I felt like this particular scene with her husband, Courtney, felt redundant. I was bored. And to be honest with you, I will say this, Stormy, because I'm going to keep it real. Don't come at me with, what's up? I feel like a lot of your scenes feel forced. They feel produced. They don't feel natural. You know what I mean? The only scene that didn't feel produced or didn't feel natural, or if that felt natural, was the one with her aunt and her mom. Like, that was like, ooh, like, finally some real stuff happening right now. And I did, like I said before, I did enjoy learning more about her business and things that she went through. Apparently, Courtney hired back the cousin, and they're talking about the struggles of, starting this $40 million business, and, she never wanted to fire anyone. And then apparently someone, I don't know if it was a family member, I don't know if it was a friend, but someone that used to work for her stole money from her and forged names and things like that. I hope she locked them up. No. I mean, how much money did they steal? I want to know. So that was the only thing that I kind of got from this. I don't even care about them talking about the issues between Tiffany and Kiki, because at this point, I don't care about Tiffany and Kiki's battle with each other. So when we get to the scene at the end, I don't care. Anyone else? Live chat, replay crew, do you care? I really don't care. People don't care enough about Tiffany to care about her beefing with Kiki. So Stormy and Courtney talk a little bit about that. Stormy is also a little concerned that Courtney decided to hire back her cousin after they decided to let him go. I mean, she's very close with her cousin. I wonder if she's concerned because working with him affected their family relationship. Okay. Martell says it's hard to find a place in Huntsville, but he finally has found a place, and he's done being a squatter in Chris Fletcher's property. So he's moving out at night. He needed to find a place that had 5 bedrooms because he has a lot of kids. He calls Chris Fletcher to let him know that he's moved out. Chris is very excited. Chris confronts him about the heated conversation that Martell had with his wife. only for us to see a preview where Chris is confronting him again. This is what I was talking about. Like, I feel like they have nothing. So end the season. Why are we on episode 125 if we're starting to rehash and replay the same conversation? Chris is too laid back, so I don't feel like this is gonna get any more heated than I heard you were talking big talk with my wife. You know what I mean? Like, why are we rehashing it? You already confronted him on FaceTime. I'm just glad Martell's done being a squatter. But we did find out that Martell's going to get some cosmetic surgery. He's going to get the bags from under his eyes removed. Have I heard of that surgery before? Here's the thing. Like, I wouldn't mind doing something. Look, doing something like that. Look, I don't even know how that works. I just don't like to play with my eyes like that. Mind you, I had LASIK. But I feel like when I finally decided to have LASIK, I had waited a long time, done research. I even went to one of the pioneers that was expert in it. So, like, I take my time. I'm a tourist. We don't just jump and do stuff. So I took my time. I did my research. But I still don't know if I would want to mess with, because this is a very thin area under your eyes. It's a very thin area. But apparently, Martell is getting his eyes done, y'all. I didn't even think Martell had like bags like that. All right. I'm not gonna look, to each their own. But I didn't think he had money like that. Oh, okay. He's not gonna be able to work out or do anything, so that's why he had to move at night. He wanted to get this done. Well, at least he's done being a squatter. All right, moving on. We didn't get any Tisha or Marceau this week. I'm okay with it. They talked about them now. I'm okay with it. Melody and her college bestie, I'm glad they brought her bestie on, because I feel like this is probably like the one real friend that has been on the show with Melody. Like, these women have gone back for, since college days. So years of friendship. But it did feel a little pre-produced, this scene, because Melody, but also Melody's a Scorpio, so she's a water sign, so she's sensitive. So Melody brings up to her friend, well, I want to know why you didn't come to my name changing ceremony. I want to know why half of the people that we think that you're friends, like Kimmy and Tiffany, did not come to your name changing ceremony. But her bestie did not come, but her bestie's niece was having a sweet 16. Priorities. But Mel was very upset about it. And she was like, why didn't you come? Well, she said, well, since you didn't come to my name changing ceremony, I want you to help me find love. And maybe outside of the country. But here's the thing with Melody. I feel like she's always testing her friendships, because now she's asking her friend, so if you had to choose a guy for me, what kind of guy would you choose? If one of my friends said that to me, I'd be like, girl, I don't know. You tell me. I mean, look, our besties, we kind of know. But at the same time, I'm the type of person, I'm like, well, no, you tell me. Like, what are you looking at? Like, I'm more than willing to help. But let me know what you think. I just felt like she was trying to force, like she had a producer hat on in this situation. So she's trying to drag stuff out of her friend. But I was just happy to see someone that genuinely is friends with Melody, instead of these other relationships on the show that we know is not genuine, at least at this point. Nell and Chris discussed the dinner from the other night, and that's when they decide, maybe we need to go in therapy. But she is saying that when they borrow money from Chris, he gets his money back. When they borrow money from her, she doesn't get her money back. I know some of you probably can relate to that. But she also understands that the kids feel differently about their relationship with Chris versus the relationship with her. Hence why when they talk about possible counseling, she's like, well, maybe that's something that we should consider. They also talk about the situation with Lexi, and Chris doesn't understand where she's coming from. I don't know the whole situation with Lexi, but now that I realize that the family dynamic might be a little bit different, I'm not sure if Lexi actually grew up with the other kids under the same roof 24/7. Or if she grew up with her mom, and maybe she feels closer to her mom, and maybe Chris did admit that he wasn't the best in those early years because of what he was going through. But although we love us some Chris, I want to know more about the dynamic. Like, What happened? How did she grow up? Was she living in another house while everyone else was under the same roof? Because let's think about it. If Lexi is his daughter, more than likely she grew up with the mom. Lance is Nell's son. She's the mom, so he grew up under the roof, and then they're two kids together. They're all under the same roof. Like, let's piece it together, like, because to me that would make more sense why Lexi feels left out and alienated from the group. And no, at some point after the age of 21, you should probably like let that stuff go. But now, to me, now that I've explained it to you, do you understand where Lexi might be coming from and why she might feel alienated from the family? Because I don't think she grew up with them like that. Like, she grew up with them, but not 24/7, not like how they grew up with each other, apparently, because I don't know how they grew up. Honestly, that's what we should have spent our introduction to the family, understanding the family dynamics a little bit better before we jump into the toxicity of the family. Whew. Anyways, guys, don't forget to like the video. It's an easy and free way of supporting the channel. Also, you can support the channel by getting a little something for yourself at Codis.com, a proud sponsor of the channel. Head on over to the description of this video for more details. And don't forget to use the discount code KEMPIRE10 for 10% off of your order. Shout out to all of you that have been getting a little something. You know, Codis doesn't just have water bottles. They have sheets, they have things for your pets, they have all kinds of stuff. Head on over to Codis.com. Again, don't forget to use the discount code KEMPIRE10 for 10% off of your order. And per usual, I'm twerking on a fence. houseofkempire.com for all of our merch. We have a lot of really cool merch, including our our woo merch is available as well. More information is available in the description. All right. So let's get back into this. So they have that conversation, Nell and Chris, in regards to the family and the family dynamics, what's going on with their son, and his issues, and how they feel like they can move forward together. Let's talk about this final scene a little bit. So we have this final scene with Kiki and Stormi. Stormi is being the mediator, so Stormi wants to be able to bridge a gap between Tiffany and Kiki. If y'all don't stop playing Carlos King's YouTube videos as if this Tiffany interview was so mind-boggling and it shook the internet. No, it didn't. No one cared. Did you guys really care about the Tiffany interview on Carlos's channel? I just feel like they're just using some of what they're doing to promote that, but also to fill in the episodes that don't have anything. This meeting of the minds between Kiki and Tiffany, I'm like, if it was Kiki and Tisha, even though I don't think that's going to happen, but I would be more interested in a Tisha and Kiki meetup than a Tiffany and Kiki. They don't like each other. They don't need to like each other. And why is Tiffany showing up with her baby? Now, the scene, I mean, I don't want Kiki to turn up when there's a baby right there. So I'm like, but Stormi is trying to mend fences. But shout out to Kiki, because one of you guys called in, I can't remember, apologies, called in and said that Kiki went on IG Live to go to the clinic where she's tested every time she, goes through the whole methadone treatment to prove to her, like, we're tested. They test me for drugs and things like that, and I'm clear. So she talks about how the methadone treatment is affecting her, the hot flashes and things like that. And Stormi is really trying to be supportive of Kiki. I think we're all trying to be supportive of Kiki in her recovery right now. We're trying, but Marcel and Tisha, not so much. So they talk about that a little bit, and then Tiffany arrives. But of course, we're not going to see this conversation until next week. I feel like they're dragging the season out way too much. This really should be season 7, if anything. We already know they filmed the reunion, and they always film the reunions way earlier than before the season ends, like for Real Housewives. But I feel like we have quite a few episodes, and they already filmed the reunion weeks ago. So I feel like the schedule is off, because I know a lot of fans are going to have questions, and I'm not sure if they're going to get answered at the reunion. Just saying. Because you guys add content to the social media, and I'm sure that would be something that Carlos would like to ask at the reunion. And no word on Love and Marriage DC. I told you, nobody cares at this point. DC, wrap it up. And look, shout out to the cast. It's not your fault. I blame Carlos. Sorry, Carlos. Maybe it's not Carlos's fault. Maybe it's own. Whoever's fault it is, no one cares at this point. What do you guys think about Bell Collective? I've sort of I'm out of Bell Collective. I'm not interested in a lot of these shows. And I'll be honest with you. Right before Saturday, when I was going to watch this, I was like, okay, I need to watch this. I'm going to do a recap on it. I'm sort of like, I don't want to watch it. I'd much rather turn on my Christmas music or a Christmas movie while I decorate for Christmas. I really wasn't interested, but backtracking. I have said that these last few episodes have been interesting, but based off the preview for what's to come, it feels like they're rehashing. It's feeling redundant. And I'm like, okay, y'all need to wrap this up. We should be getting a preview for the reunion. Where's the reunion trailer? Come on. I get it, programming. You got to fill time. You have an agreement with the network. Oh, but you are dragging it at this point. I don't care about Tiffany and Kiki's issues. We have not really seen Melody and Martell together, but talk about each other. And I don't want them together because I don't need her being forced to film with a man that was stalking her. I don't know. Look, allegedly. Allegedly. And now they've introduced the Nell situation, and based on the preview, it seems as Lewis doesn't want to do reality TV anymore. They're breaking the fourth wall. So I'm wondering, after this conversation, is that when they decided to bring Nell in? Because I know you're probably thinking, oh, everything is filmed in chronological order. Not necessarily. So I'm wondering if that's why they wanted to introduce Nell and the family in. As I said in the previous recap, Carlos said on social media that they've wanted Nell and her family for a long time, since the beginning. So maybe that's part of the reason. Maybe you all will get your wish and Tiffany will be gone for next season. I mean, will I miss her? Look, if the show went off the air, would I miss it? Just saying. That's just me, though. I do this for you. Look, I'm no martyr, but you already know how I feel about this show and why I even do recaps. You guys show up for it, and I appreciate it. But it's not one of my favorite shows. It's not even in my top 10. Sorry. Not sorry. I'm honest. I'm transparent. Okay? Guys, be sure to like the video if you haven't already. This is our weekly recap of Love and Marriage Huntsville. How would you rate this week's episode? And did you watch our past recap from Friday on episodes 23 and 124? Be sure to give that a like and a comment on your thoughts. And as always, let's get out of here with some music. I will see you all in the next one. And don't forget, we will be recapping Real Housewives of Potomac. It should be on time. Stay tuned for that. It is a holiday week coming up. So just saying, I won't be in the studio like I normally am. So buckle up. All right, buckle up. You still get content even when I am on the move. All right. Thank you to our moderators, our King's Guards. Thank you to our channel members. To become a member of the channel, head on over to TheKempire.com/join. What was your favorite part of the episode, guys? So let's continue this conversation along with the replay crew in the comment section. Let's get out of here with some... Do I have some of my Christmas music? Yes, I do. Let's play some Christmas music.